members of the community, people of the city of Houston, thank you for the media that came out. Thank you for everybody that supported. I want to introduce myself first. My name is Attorney Jason Johnson. I have been assigned a lead counsel position to respond to the suit that the city of Houston filed for an application for temporary and permanent injunction to shut the doors of this business down, Spivey's Uptown. We want to first say that we appreciate everybody that came out. And the only thing I'll be doing today is I will be addressing the legal side of it. But pretty soon after I speak, you will see what this business means to this community. And we will dispel this narrative that was put out recklessly last week about crime and hotbed for criminal activity and all that, because that is not what this business stands for, and that is not what this business owner stands for. Now, in terms of the injunction that the city of Houston has put in, we understand the reason why the mayor and the city of Houston would want to try to attack a business such as Spivey's. The crime rate in Houston has increased. Everybody knows that. But it's not just in this area. It has been citywide. For some reason, when you look at the news clippings last week, all you saw was Spivey's, right? You didn't see any other business. There's violence everywhere. And subsequently, the mayor, and through his attorney's office, the city's attorney's office, has filed that motion for temporary injunction and permanent injunction. I'll let you know right now, and I stand here as legal counsel for him right now, lead counsel, we will vigorously fight that. It's incorrect. A lot of the stuff in the pleadings, what I'll tell you is not evidence. It's just pleadings, and they have to prove their case, and they will not prove their case. And as far as the temporary injunction goes, they will have to prove to a district court judge that they will prevail on the merits for final. They won't do that. I expect that we will vigorously defend Spivey's Uptown. His name will be cleared, and we want to let the Houston community know, and specifically 3rd Ward, that Spivey's Uptown is committed to uplifting this community, uplifting the city of Houston, and they do not support the increase in crime rate in this city. And it is irresponsible for anybody to go out and pretend either verbally or and through the media or whatever that Spivey's has something to do with the uptick in crime. You can go to any area in Houston, whether it be 3rd Ward, downtown, Montrose, Southwest, Southeast, whatever, right? There is violence in this city, and we do not condone it. We condemn it, but at the same time, we condemn city officials making Mr. Spivey and his business a scapegoat for the uptick in crime. It's not his fault. He's one of the people who are doing things to uplift this city, not bring it down. Thank you. I'm going to move it over to my co-counsel, Mr. Darrell Holt, and after that, the lawyers are going to step back, and we will talk, let the community speak for everybody else. Let's go. There you go.
Good afternoon. I'm Attorney Darrell Holt. I want to speak on behalf of Mr. Spivey.
You're going to sit down.
And to make it very clear, exceptionally clear, that Mr. Spivey is just as committed to fighting violence in this community as the city of Houston and its constituents. He's dedicated his entire life to this. He's raised young men, he's mentored peers, and he's spent his entire life in this community to the extent that he built his own business here. And on that track, he has not committed any crime, he has not been arrested, he has been a model citizen. And to paint this man as the face of violence in Houston is a travesty and is a disservice to our humanity. And on top of that, his relationship with the community is such that even some of the victims of this crime have spoken out on his behalf and to support his cause. And I'll pass it on to him.
Let me say good evening. I bring you greetings from Kingdom Bills Cathedral Church, a pastor in the community. And I want to say that Spivey has been a mentor to our young boys. He has been a help to our community. And so we stand behind him. And so today I'm calling all elected officials, all my friends to come. Let's rally behind all these supporters today. It's 2 o'clock. It got to be somebody about this man. He's a Christian man. I'm just saying he's an owner, but he loved God. And that's why we're here today to stand by him and say it's not over. We're going to fight until the end.
I want to pose the question to everybody that's watching. Have you ever stepped foot inside of Spivey's? And I'll give you a second to answer that question. If it's no, then it's very hard for you to try to judge this person based off of what the media has said. I'll even go further. Has the mayor stepped inside? Has the mayor sat down and talked with Spivey and his team about what's happening here? He's not the face of this danger. He cannot control what's going on outside of the doors. And so what we really want to make sure everyone knows is that this is all about community. This is all about people that look like us. And we want the people that we vote in office that want our vote so bad and that say they're gonna do A, B, C, and D for us, to be able to stand in that same community when things like this happen and stand behind us. And that's not what we're seeing, and that's very disappointing. However, as you can see, all of these people out here on this day today are supporting Spivey, are supporting everybody that's connected with this, and supporting the third ward community and Houston as a whole. We're a tight-knit family, and we do not play about each other. And I hope that everyone can see that love and can really see the light of Spivey and everybody that's connected to this one today.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Lloyd Ford, owner of the Black Store. We grew up in this neighborhood. We live in this neighborhood. Everything that we do, we own and operate in this neighborhood. Our only goal is to see the uplift of our people and make sure that we're doing the greatest thing for what we're trying to do. And one thing that we always have to look when we see crime, the little things, petty things happening to our businesses that are unjust, or the bigger picture and what really needs to happen and what really is going on. And one of the questions that really need to be asked, what are the budgets that the community and the city council and people have that's actually putting back into these communities and our civic duties in our city councils that's doing the work in these communities. So we have to really see, and I tell people all the time, follow the money and watch where this stuff is going and how we protecting our community. Us and other business owners are only supportive of Eric Spivey and all the things that we're doing in the community, and we will only continue to be that. So we employ people that want to be the action, want to do the things, get out here into the community. We out here every day. This is not a 1 week, 1 month thing. This is 365 days a year and making it happen. So we employ anybody that don't know what's going on and you just looking at the news, come get involved. We're out here. Look at social media. We from Facebook to Instagram to anything that you look and come be involved in what we're doing and how we're doing it. And I tell people we have to look at what's the bigger picture and trying to take back our communities and what's really want to go on in these neighborhoods. So I employ everybody that want to be involved and want to come out and show what we're doing and want to see it. You don't have to talk about it. You can come be here and see the atmosphere of what's going on in these businesses every day and what we're going on to do. So like I said, we're going to continue to be involved in what we're doing, and guess what? We're going to hold people accountable that's not being involved in our communities. So we tell people that. We appreciate it.
I'm just going to say, not only is Spivey a positive role model in our community, not only is he a positive role model in our community, he also try to help upcoming entrepreneurs by letting them come in the club and promoting their businesses to help people get their businesses up off the ground. So he's not just out here just trying to look out for himself. He's looking out for the people in his community, that the people that are trying to, get their business off the ground and started. So he has a great big following. So those people coming in here trying to, get their business up off the ground, they have a great opportunity by coming up in here and, promoting their businesses up in here, because it's so many people up in here and he knows so many people. So,
good afternoon. I want anyone that's watching this to first think about the word invest. And to invest in something, you have to be a special breed. And Spivey is a special breed because he has not only invested into what you saw on the news, it's just a club. He's invested into this community. He's invested into this city, and he's invested outside of this state. He invests way more in just nightlife fun. He invests in our kids. He invests in the elderly, right around the corner. He has fed so many people in this community that cannot afford to eat. He has clothed so many people that don't have any necessities or any extra income to provide for their families. He's way more than just a nightclub owner. He's a man of integrity. He has family. He has brothers. He has kids. He has us. And everybody that's watching this needs to understand that a tragic event that happened at a nightclub also happens at our schools. also happen at our churches, also happen at our parks, also happens at our hospitals, also happens at our homes. So why would we as a city come together to sue him and bring him down when he needs someone to come and say, hey, let's fix this as a community. Let's do everything that we can to make sure that a tragic event never happens again. I don't feel that the resolution to this problem is to shut him down. That's showing that anytime something happens, we just shut it down and we close our eyes and when we go somewhere else. This is an example not only for this club, if you're a club owner and you're watching this, because sometimes when things happen, you look at it and you don't think of, I could be next.
Right.
If you are a club owner, you should be looking at this and saying, we could be next by a simple fight, a simple argument, a simple bump, or something happened in the club can turn tragic when adults don't know how to walk away and go home at night. Let's come together and not break ourselves apart.
I want to speak on the club owner and them as a person. I want to say he's been around. He's my baby, and I support all these brothers and his sisters for anything they do. This is their grandmother on my shirt. He has paid for a bunch of seniors. Any little problem we had with the seniors, he's been there. But one person I want to speak on, he helps with the handicap. I had a handicapped baby that eventually passed away. My baby would come cut his hair. Him and the boys in the community would cut his hair, put him in a wheelchair, do work for him. So if you don't know him as a person, just come to me and I'll tell you anything about any for a person. Any business they have, I'm supporting it, and I'll get people in the community to support it. I'm a team mom of Jack Gates. Anything these boys do, I'm with them, because we got too many of them that's killing, that are killing, but they're not one of them. And there's backing people that are killing. They will come and help them and talk to them and do anything they have to do. So if you don't know him as a person, get to know him as a person, or any of them, because they're all great, handsome, fine men, and they'll do anything for you. And I'm getting emotional because I hate to see somebody build up so much and you try to tear them down when there's people on the streets doing nothing, and you're turning down a black man that needs everything. He has a family. He's there for mine 24/7. And he is still there for a handicapped child that I have. And I love him, and I got their back.
I'm sorry, man. What's your name?
Tuere, T-U-E-R-E.
Could y'all identify yourself before you speak?
Tuere Omodele, T-U-E-R-E, O-M-O-D-E-L-E.
Thank you.
You identified yourself?
Yeah.
Just come say it again.
My name is Shatera Blackman. S-H-A-T-E-R-R-A. Blackman, B-L-A-C-K-M-O.
Lloyd Ford, owner of the Black School.
Darius Savannah, singer in the city, D-A-R-I-A-S-A-V-A-N-N-A-H.
Oh, one more. Let him.
Pastor Hall, Terrace Hall, T-E-R-R-A-N-C-E Hall, Kingdom Village Cathedral Church.
Good afternoon. My name is CJ Hunter. I'm CEO and president of the Build Studios. I'm saddened by the fact that I had to show up like this today, because I have known Eric Spivey and his family for over a decade now. I love Eric Spivey. And one thing I know, and two for sure, is that we are dealing with someone who is not only a pillar of the community, but has a heart of gold. And yet this is what we've come to. Rather than having the decency and the wherewithal to know when a conversation is necessary, a character assassination happens. And that I could not stand for. I'm livid and heartbroken for my brother, because I remember the days back in 2010 and 2012 where he would bring big buckets of KFC chicken
and sit at the dining room table and help me with my vision and my dreams for this. And he will talk about this being his goal, his dream, his vision. Because we are both children of Third Ward. The Hunter name, the Spivey name, and the Penny name live through these streets. So all I'm asking is whatever the agenda is, you think twice. Because what you cannot do is practice hypocrisy when it comes down to this. And here's how. People claim all these things that go on in the urban neighborhood, right? You say we got a problem with crime. You say that we got a problem with this and a problem with that. Yet, a man of God like this, from a family like his, has to go through this. It makes no sense. I would ask anyone to justify how it makes sense to assassinate the character of a man who had no control over an incident in an environment that he did not create this type of behavior to even exist. Love, peace, and giving is what Eric Spivey and the Spivey family is about. I appreciate your time, bro. I love you. And we're going to get through this. Because you want to start the war, the love and the support that he has is going to trump you every time. And that's on God. Thank you.
So, as me being Eric Spivey, the owner of Spivey's Uptown Inc., I just want to thank everyone for standing with us at this time. And the things that I do in this community, for them to use the word nuisance, I'm heartbroken. Like my mom said, like my brother said, and everyone that spoke, these are people that watch me grow. These are people that watch me do the things that I have done in the Third Ward community. Graduating from Jack Yates High School, the same high school that George Floyd graduated from. Me doing this as a young entrepreneur, doing it the right way. Giving back all through the pandemic. Helping the senior citizens. Doing everything that I can in my power to keep my community in power. Everyone that I've employed and hired. And here it is to try to shut down something that's amazing into the community. Like I say, I'm heartbroken. And I'm not going to keep talking. I just want to thank everybody for standing here with me at this time. Thank you, and God bless.
Love you.
So as you can see, I want everybody in Houston who is looking at this, especially the politicians, the mayor, the people who had everything bad to say and negative to say about Mr. Spivey and about the community and how he brings down this community. The community has spoken. As a lawyer, I can sit here and I can defend, but the people who have boots on the ground will tell you the real deal. And they have told you, and they've spoken loudly and they've spoken clearly. And we'll speak loudly and clearly in our defense and through the courts. And I want to say one last thing before we part. Again, we are saddened and heartbroken that Mr. Spivey and his business have been made a scapegoat. And we also want to say that if Mr. Spivey and Spivey's Uptown would have known or had any inclination that this type of problem would have arose, those people would never have made it past the front door. They did not invite this type of behavior. They did not invite this violence. All they did was open up an establishment for the people of the community, the people of the city of Houston to party. And some people who don't have any home training or common sense or whatever they don't have came in here, didn't know how to act, and they immediately got put out. on the street. Look at the actions. If this is a nuisance, if they promote this type of behavior, why did they get put out? If they like this type of behavior happening, they should have stayed in the club. They would have allowed it, right? They would have let the fighting happen. You're not going to kick something out you invite. As soon as fighting and whatever altercations happened, they were pushed out. And then on the street, an unfortunate event took place and people got shot, but that has nothing to do with Spivey's Uptown. It did not occur in the club. He has no control over what happens inside that outside the club on the end, and we will make sure that we speak about that in front of the district court judge and in the response that we've given. We've also filed a response today to the suit from the city, although I don't even believe you've been served with it officially. And so that tells you what type of person he is, because we are being proactive. We can wait on service or process legally to respond. The response is already there. It's public information. So nobody's hiding, nobody's running. Unfortunately, this man has to fight, and that's what we'll do. And we'll clear his name in the end. Thank you.
Can I ask you guys one quick question?
Correct.
There was a press conference last week from other members of the community.
Yes.
Who brought up the word nuisance. What do you guys say to them about the concerns that they raised?
Ultimately, we asked them to create an open floor forum to come here and see what Spivey's Uptown is about. You can't do that from sitting in the office. We asked the mayor to come open to an open floor forum and actually learn about these individuals, everybody here. We voted. I voted for him. He owes us that right. Before you make statements, before you put out misleading information, make sure you have clarification on that. Make sure there's truth to it. Because ultimately, crime is a world problem. Crime is not only just in this community. It's not a person problem. If people want to create actions, let's get out here. I mean, and not with just signs. Let's go talk to kids in the community. Let's go do what it takes, really what it takes, and not sit behind a desk and make all of these false accusations. Pushing agendas, pushing a ploy to push somebody that has been a pillar, somebody that is my brother. A shining example, exactly. Out of the community. What sisters that make? I mean, it's hard for me to sit here and watch the media destroy this man's character. Never had any type of involvement in crime. None of us. My mama had 7 kids. 7. None. None have ever been involved in crime. And for y'all to do something like this, to pick us like this, is sickening.
Hi, I'm Eric's sister. I'm the oldest. I'm sorry. It just hurts me to see. I'm not someone who normally likes to speak in front of the camera, but I just really want you all to know that it hurts me to see that this is happening to not just an individual here in this community, which is my brother. It hurts because, number one, my mom left us 7 children. My brother here, Eric comes from being, and I don't want to have to say this, but I'm going to say this. Eric was in special ed. So for him to start doing the things that he's doing in this community, he came from a strong background. My mom, my grandmother, our parents, period, did not raise us up to be thugs and criminals. That's not where we come from. My grandmother, Winnie Colley, is a pillar of this community. Unfortunately, God has called her home. And we have all stood right here on all of these streets and given back to the community 100%. And it was 20 people in the household. And here we out here taking off our clothes, giving other people our clothes, and collecting. Eric done everything that he could. So yes, we are very, very angry. We're upset, but we know how to control our words, our behaviors. So we're not going to allow anybody, the mayor, Tamara Bell, any of them who have put the word nuisance behind my brother's name, it's not going to stand. Because at the end of the day, we know who has the higher power, and that is God. And we come from a family of true, faithful believers in God. And this shall prevail. No weapon formed against any of us shall prosper.
Amen.
We will win. We will win.
Can you give us your full name? And will you give us your name too?
My name is Desmond Spivey.
I'm LaQuinta Spivey.
Will you spell it?
Laquinta. Spivey. Spivey.
Desmond, Desmond, Spivey.
Again, we want to thank everybody for coming out. Lastly, if there aren't any more questions, I want to challenge the media. I've looked at some media clippings, some media reports, and after the situation last week when the mayor spoke and the chief of police spoke, we were able to see that you talked about Spivey's and then you put on the city's crime statistics as to make it seem as if there's some sort of connection between Spivey's and the uptick in crime. That's deceptive, it's misleading, and it's unfair. Okay? So for the people of Houston to see the news and see Spivey's, there was an incident outside of Spivey's, and then you see, oh, X amount of increases, a percentage of increase in crime, it assumes that, or people can assume that Spivey had, or Spivey's Uptown has something to do with the increase in crime, and that's not the case. So please be more responsible with your news reporting. Again, we know how to handle the courts downtown, but in the court of public opinion, I ask that the media be fair. That's all I do.